Erupting from the events of Hush 2 comes DC's first ever in continuity mature readers ongoing Red Hood series. That's a lot of qualifiers. So let's talk about that in this video. Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, we're going to be doing a review for Red Hood number 1. This is a new book from DC Comics written by Gretchen Felker Martin with art by Jeff Spokes, letters by Becca Carey. Um, so I am not very familiar with this writer. I don't know a lot of their work. So I definitely wanted to check this out for multiple reasons. First of all, it's Red Hood. Like, if you think I'm not gonna check this out, you are crazy. Also, we have Jeff Spokes doing art. Like Jeff Spokes just wrapped up a run on the Jenny Sparks book, and it was so cool. I think Spokes has a very distinct style, which I really like, and I think it really fits in the world of this new Red Hood. So, really looking to check this out. Very excited to see how this is gonna all play out. Now, I will say I was not the biggest fan of that Hush 2 story, but lucky for you, this book really kind of gives you everything that you need to know about what's going on. So you don't even have to have read Hush 2. I think the team does a great job placing you where you need to, like giving you all the information you need to follow Jason in this new, mature reader adventure. So in this issue, Jason Todd has left Gotham and Batman behind. I mean, yeah, they were having some issues. All he's taking with him is his costume, his bike, and a metal briefcase containing 2 handguns and a lot of bullets. New Angelique seems like the perfect new place for Red Hood to put down roots. There's a new killer who's targeting the city's police. He finds himself sucked into a terrible and bleak conspiracy with seemingly no end in sight. But Jason isn't the only person on the scene. Following his trail is Helena Bartonelli, aka the Huntress. Is she here to stop him? Help him? What will happen when the two black sheep of the Bat family start working together? Get ready for Red Hood like you've always wanted to see him. I don't know. Does that mean like I will like the Punisher? Is that because that's kind of the vibes that I was getting going into this book. Especially, the tagline for the books is "Out of Gotham, not out of bullets." Like, especially making this a mature book. Like, yeah, it's crazy that they're doing an in continuity mature story. So um, I really enjoyed this book. Like I said, I'm not familiar with the writer's work, but they did such a good job. Just bring me up to speed. The events of Hush in my head are all kind of scrambled, and I just see flashes of Jim Lee's really cool art. But it really works. The book is violent. It's cool. It's moody. It's kind of broody like Jason is. And then, like I said, Jeff Spoke's art is just fantastic. I love the combination of having Huntress. At least this version of Huntress, right? There's a couple of versions from different universes, but this version of Huntress, who is just kind of ready to get down and dirty. Like I said, Jason still struggling. I like his new outfit. Like both of them get really cool character redesigns that really work. This new city, they talk about characters that maybe have been introduced in the past, but like I said, it really is inconsequential. Like you get everything that you need out of the story here. So highly recommend. If you are looking for a more mature book, or if you're just a big fan of Jason Todd, this is the issue that you want to check out. It's great. It has everything. It has the violence. It has the cool fighting action. It has beautiful art, and then of course, like I said, just Jason getting down and dirty into it, getting hurt, getting punished, but also dealing out some consequences to everybody that kind of gets in his way. And on top of that, there's this mystery of like what the heck is going on, this conspiracy that's fighting against Jason, following him around. So Jason feels like he just can't escape his past. But it's great stuff. I really enjoyed it. Let's go take a look at some of the covers for this issue before we close out the video. All right, here we have the covers for this video, for this issue. You can find those on League of Comic Geeks. That's usually where I get my stuff. where I look at the pull list and all that. So first we have Red Hood number one with the cover by Jeff Spokes, the main artist on the book. We have a really cool cover by Jim Lee. I really like this a lot. With the Robin outfit as he died, and now also Jason just kind of looking really cool in his new gear. Jay Lee gives us this amazing Huntress cover. Another really cool Brian Boland variant cover. Ooh, I like this one a lot. Brian Boland knows how to draw like a greedy character. Very cool cover by Gabriel Delato. One of my favorite cover artists. Like just the compositions that he gets out of these characters are amazing, and I love the minimal trade dress. Right, the small logo in the corner. Yeah, very cool stuff. And then this is a foiled variant without the trade dress by Q Young. I am not familiar with this artist, but I like the cover. We have the blank cover, of course, which I'll probably be picking up so I can get, a little commission maybe at the next convention. And then we have a Nick Robles cover. Oh, wow, this is a spicy cover. I mean, this is a mature book. And then we have just the Jim Lee without any of the trade dress or anything like that. This is a 1 in 50 ratio cover. And then back to the main cover. So let's go close out this video. Yeah, this is fantastic stuff. I really like it. Highly recommend you check this out. Like I said, not familiar with the writer, very familiar with the artist, but either way, like this team just kind of roast. This book is at kind of the top of my pile now. I can't wait to read the next issue. So, if you have checked out this new Red Hood, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. Let me know which cover you picked up from the ones we saw in the video. And as always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye. Bane destroys Batman's world. Let's talk about it in this video. Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, we're going to be doing a review for Absolute Batman number 12. This is a new book from DC Comics from the Absolute line. And boy, let me tell you, this one, I was getting angry as I was reading it, but not because the issue is bad. The issue is excellent because of everything that was happening to these characters that I've kind of grown fond of in this Absolute universe. We'll talk about it. So let's get into this. The creative team, first of all, this is written by Scott Snyder with art by Nick Dragotta, Frank Martin colors, letters by Clem Cowles. This is part 4 of the Abomination storyline. In this book, Bane presses the attack. Batman is at the mercy of the monstrous Bane, and though his body has seen better days, his mind and spirit are still strong. But how much longer can they withstand Bane's brutal onslaught? Also, we'll get a really, like, before I go into spoilers, we get a really cool I guess first look at one of these characters that probably going to be very important to this book. So look, I have been really enjoying this book. In the last issue, we saw that Batman had kind of transformed into something else, but Bane in this world has learned that in order to truly defeat Batman, he has to take away everything from, he has to bring him back down to zero, take away everything, his family, his friends, and that's kind of where he gets started. Man, oh man, Nick Dragotta, like, doing some amazing work with first of all the redesign of Bruce. Like, he looks very different after everything he's been through, but also there's a lot of body horror in this issue. We get some nice moments, we get some levity, but right after that, Bruce gets thrown into the deep end. It is just the stuff that Bane does to Bruce's friends, like, to Oz and Harvey and Enigma. It's just, I can't even imagine how you start thinking of this. It really feels like a horrific issue. And like I said, I was just getting angry because I like these characters. I like the current relationship that they had with Bruce. And then, of course, I knew we were eventually going to have to get to where these characters are a little bit more like the characters that we know. But man, oh man. Also, of course, Eddie as well, right? Yeah, it is. Oh man, I don't want to go too much into details. You'll see some of the stuff in the preview images, but Scott Snyder just went very dark in this issue, and I think that the world as we know it here for this absolute Batman has truly changed. I don't know what the end of this arc is going to look like. I don't know how much longer Bruce can go on like this. He's getting a little bit of help, but even that may not be enough. Pennyworth. We still have Selena out there, and then of course I don't want anything bad to happen to his mom. So, yeah, very interesting stuff. Exciting, but like I said, it is pretty rough. Like I I I don't want a different story. I'm excited about the story that we are currently looking at, but it's tough to read. Like I had a because I like those characters a lot, the way they were, and I wanted to see their relationship a little bit longer that way. So, all right, let's go take a look at the covers. Let me know if you enjoy looking at this part of the. I didn't normally used to do this part of the reviews, but I think I've gotten some good feedback. People like to see the variant cover. So, all right, here we have the covers that we will have for Batman. This is from League of Comic Geeks, so you can always go check it out yourself there. It's where I prep my pull list and all that. We have the main cover by Nick Dragotta. We have a Paul Pope variant that's very cool. I don't know when the last time I picked up a Paul Pope variant was. We have a Dennis Cohen, which is also really cool. Like I love the scratchiness of the cape and the lines all across the black. Yeah, that's a really cool one. And then we have a Steven Subic Glow in the Dark edition. If you've been keeping up with DC, they've been doing some of these glow in the dark, usually by this same artist. So that's pretty cool. And I think we have a regular one as well. We have a regular black and white Steven Subic, and then some stuff without the trade. Here's the Paul Pope, and back to Nick Dragotta. So there's all the covers we have for this book. Let's close out this video. Yeah, this is a pretty intense issue. I didn't even talk about Waylon. We do have the reveal finally of, like, if you're getting to this part of the video, here's the big spoiler. We finally get to see the absolute Catwoman. You've probably seen some designs on the internet, but you finally get to actually see her in this book. So this is kind of like the first appearance. So if you're into that kind of stuff, this is definitely something you want to check out. So, all right. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. Let me know what you thought about this book. Let me know what covers you picked up and all that good stuff. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, movie reviews, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Check out our live streams on the weekend. Saturday, we have like one main topic. Sunday, we go through all the stuff we've been watching, reading, listening to, all that stuff for the week. So thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye. The Punisher is back, bigger, badder, and bloodier than ever. This is a review for Punisher Red Band #1. Let's talk about it in this video. Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Punisher Red Band #1. This is a new book from Marvel Comics. This is one of the polybagged red band issues that Marvel has been putting out. So this is not appropriate for all audiences. This is a mature comic. So if you are not mature enough, well, you can't read it. Let's talk a little bit about the creative team before we get into this book. It's been a little while since we've had a Punisher book with Frank Castle in it, so it's good to see him back. But this is written by Benjamin Percy, with art by Julius Oda, Yen Nitro on colors, letters by Corey Petit. Plenty of covers, including I picked up this really cool, kind of like an homage to a lot of the different variants. Like if you zoom in, all the little variants are covers of all the little things are panels from Punisher storyline. So, but let's talk about this issue. Frank is back. Reread and reload, true believers. Frank Castle is back with no memories, a full clip, and a thirst for wrathful vengeance. His violent search for answers could only be chronicled in a Red Band series. Bullets will fly, blood will flow, and the citizens and criminals of New York City alike will fear the name The Punisher. I am very excited about this. I've been reading Benjamin Percy and Julius Oda Helverine, and they are such a great team, especially when it comes to a story like this, where you need a little bit of extra violence, a lot of action, and just some really, really cool stuff happening. Um, I like the Punisher, of course. I mean, who doesn't like the Punisher? I think he's a character that it's often misunderstood, but he can do a lot of really cool things, and just like the stories that come about are incredible. Um, I have one qualm about this book, and this is really not about the book itself. It's about the Red Band series at Marvel. You can read these books digitally. They don't come with a digital code. This makes it very inaccessible to a lot of people that don't have the option to go to their shop and pick it up like I did. Um, Normally, for a Marvel book like this, I would just purchase it digitally in the morning so I can get a review out quickly. But in this case, I had to wait to go to the shop. And I know that's not doesn't seem like a big deal, but it does definitely. This book is already a mature label book, which already kind of isolates a lot of the audience, right? It excludes a lot of the audience, which is fine. Younger audiences can wait a little bit to read these Red Band stories. But the problem is that if you, for whatever reason, ever miss out on one of these issues, like I did for Daredevil Unleash Hell, I haven't been able to finish reading that series because there's no other way to read that other than to pick up the issues at the comic shop. I missed one of the issues when it came out, and now I haven't been able to finish that story. Luckily, the collection comes out this week as well for that, so hopefully I'll be reading it soon. But back to the Punisher. It's really cool, right? We don't know what's been going on with Frank since he left. We kind of get thrown into the middle of a story, and this is something that Percy does a lot. You can kind of catch the same thing on the Helverine run, the Ghost Rider, like a lot of the stuff that he's been doing. You get these characters thrown into the middle of an action thing, super violent, really cool stuff. Like Oda doing some amazing work, just really pushing the violence, but not in a way that feels grotesque, right? It just feels like this cool action movie. So, but it is something that would be rated R. Um, the other thing that I love about Percy's work is that he then starts to unravel the story. He gives you all these little interesting characters, starts putting a lot of pieces in play. We get to see that the Kingpin is part of this somehow. We get to see that Hammerhead is part of this somehow. Of course, the authorities are also trying to figure out what the heck is going on after that gigantic battle that opens up the issue with Frank. And then, of course, the people that eventually maybe get kind of caught in the crosshairs as collateral damage, whether they were there just to try to help Frank do something, or for whatever reason they got caught in the between the lines of fire. So, but this was a great debut issue. I want to try to stay up to date. I've already asked my shop to pull this for me to ensure that I don't miss out on any of these. So very excited for this. Really highly recommended if you're looking for a really cool, very violent action comic. You can definitely pick this up. You can also pick up the Red Hood, who also released a new, very mature rated book as well. So interesting that the publishers are kind of taking this approach of maybe pushing the envelope a little bit. So, all right, before we get out of here, let's take a look at all the cool covers because man, Marco Cicchetto really killed it with the main cover, which you're probably seeing in the video. So let's take a look at the rest. Alrighty, so here we have the main cover by Marco Cicchetto. We have this really cool Frank Miller. This is the 1 in 100 Virgin variant. So I like that. The Punisher logo and just a bunch of goons kind of like all over the place. We have this really cool Patrick Gleason, a really big, muscular Punisher. We have Mike Zeck. This is a 1 in 50 variant. We have this. This is a second printing. So this book has already been called for a second printing by Eric Gist. We have the logo for the second printing. This is Tyler Kirkham, who will see a few. This is kind of like a black and white Punisher in color, but here's the full color version of that. These are exclusives to 616 Comics. I recently did a little unboxing video where I got some retailer exclusive covers for a book. And then here's another Eric. Just this is with the trade dress, the Frank Miller with the trade dress, and then last but not least, the logo foil variant. I almost picked this one up, and then here's the one that I picked up by Pascal Garcin, who I believe must have put all these together. The design of this cover. So very cool stuff. As you can see, there's a lot of different panels from all over in the Punisher, and then back to the main cover. So let's close out. Yeah, I really enjoy this book. The Punisher delivered on everything that it promised, especially in the red band imprint. So if you have read this, let me know which cover did you pick up. What did you think about this? And then do you agree with me, or how do you feel about these red band physical issues only? They don't like. I would understand if maybe it takes a while for them to come to digital, but they don't. Yeah, it's been something that it's been kind of a problem. So, as always, thanks for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye. Big fallout after the revelations about Doctor Doom and how he's holding power in Latveria. Let's talk about it in this video. Hello, everyone. Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for One World Under Doom, issue number 7. I can't believe we are almost at the end of the series. Very excited to see how things turn out. But in the meanwhile, let's talk about this issue number 7. We have 2 more issues to go. This is written by Ryan North with art by R.B. Silva, David Correal on colors, letters by Travis Lanham. In this issue, fallout continues from what was revealed last month, and Doom finds his grip on power loosening. But he's not going to give it up without a fight on several fronts. Doom once sought glory, but that glory is now dead. All that is left is power and control, as rebellions in several countries are quickly and brutally put down. As Doom prepares to make his final stand and a world's army stand against him, only a few can see the truth. It's not enough. Emperor Doom is going to win, and so Mr. Fantastic prepares a one last desperate gamble. Yeah, I mean, Ryan North has done something on this chapter 7 Doom versus everyone that I never would have thought would happen in Marvel Comics. Reed Richard is not, he's a man of science. He doesn't fully always grasp the power of magic and how that works. But we know that Richards is probably the only one that can stop Doctor Doom. It's very cool. We get to see a lot of characters. I think RB Silva is doing such a good job at just bringing in so many characters, so many cool action sequences. We get as much Doom T-Rex as we can. And then, of course, Ryan North with callbacks to Valeria's conversation with Doctor Doom at the beginning of this, right? Doctor Doom asked Valeria to be patient and to wait because he would show her that what he's doing is best for everyone. Of course, that seems to not be the case after the revelations that he's using the people of Latveria to power this engine of power that that is using to control everything. So if you want really exciting big battles, you're gonna get that in here. You get this really cool twist. Oh my goodness, this is some of the coolest things I've seen. Like Reed Richards is kind of a bland character for the most part, but Ryan North is doing some really funky stuff with him. I really like it. I just really love this. And like as I mentioned, RB Silva delivering just like some of the coolest things I've seen on a page in a long, long time in a big event like this. So this is all working out great. We have 2 more issues to go, and I'm very excited to see where this story ends. Will anyone be able to stand up and stop Doctor Doom? How does Valeria play into this? Yeah, very excited to see that. So let's take a look at the variant covers before we get out of here, and we'll close out this video. All right, here we have, this is the main cover. This is what you normally pick up at your shop. Then we have this 1 in 25 ratio Stefano Caselli variant. So this is an incentive variant. We have a Jeff Shaw Doomasaur's variant. Very cool. I really like the T-Rex Doom. It's just one of the coolest things that has been added. This is a James Kerrigan retro Halloween mask. I haven't seen these at the shop. I saw one for Spider-Man. I think you can actually cut these out and put them on like back in the day, those old little costumes. So that's kind of cool. We have this NetEase Games at Marvel Mystic Mayhem variant, which I have no idea. I don't have no idea what any of those words meant, but it looks cool. It looks like a really cool Iron Man with mystic powers. We have an RB Silva variant as well, so you get to do a couple of things here, not just the interiors. And then, last but not least, this Simone Bianchi variant with Doctor Doom on multiple levels. So I like this one a lot too. Just seeing Doom kind of in three different formats. So all right, and here we have back to our main cover. So if you picked this up, let me know, what did you think of this One World Under Doom? How do you feel about the event so far? As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye. From the pages of Speed Razor comes this new comic from Mad Cave Studios. Let's talk about Razor X #1. Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Razor X #1. This is a new book from Mad Cave Studios, spinning out of the pages of Speed Razor, which we reviewed a few weeks ago. This is written by Mark Russell with art by Nuno Platti, colors by Giada Machicio, letters by Buddy Boudin. Hopefully, I said all the names correctly for the creative team. This book, an exciting new miniseries that ties into Mad Cave Studios' hit Speed Racer. That book is written by David Pepos. Very cool stuff. Like I said, we have a review for #1 on the channel. Before he was Racer X, Rex Razor was a rising star until the racing world chewed him up and left him to dead. Now, masked, scar, and driving for revenge, he's back on the circuit with one goal: to protect his brother, take down the syndicate, and outrun his past. So obviously, this one. So I was already familiar a little bit with the Speed Racer anime, so I knew that there was going to be this twist that Razor X is his brother, right? So, I guess a little bit of spoilers if you didn't know that. But that doesn't take away. If anything, I think that enriches this story. I was very lucky to get a chance to read this. And it's a really fun story, full of action. I think Mark Russell is able to retell a familiar story with new twists and turns. No pun intended, because this is about racing. So you get to see a lot of really cool things. Kind of what happened with Rex, his origin story. That's what this first issue is all about. But from there, we're gonna kick off. This really kind of meets up at the to the same end where we leave off with the first issue of Speed Razor, right? Where Racer X is kind of introduced into the world as well. And I think while one of the books will focus on Razor X, the other one will just kind of continue with the world. But it's a pretty kind of dark story in some places, but it's not too gritty. It's not too grimy. But it is about it's really a crime racing story. So I think Platti, who I'm not very familiar with their work, like does such good work capturing the feeling of the original animation when it comes to putting things on the page as far as the art. But it never skews to like we're just trying to recreate the same art. Definitely, you can see the artist's influence, the style, but it also feels very much like it captures the spirit of a Speed Racer cartoon. Like I said, there's some really cool actions. I think anytime that we're seeing something happen in a car, it looks really cool. I love the design of Razor X, and we'll talk about that in a minute because we're gonna look at some of the covers that Mad Cave is putting out for this book. But very cool stuff. highly recommend if you're into Speed Racer, if that's one of your things, you definitely want to check out this new approach because I think Mad Cave Studios is really hitting it out of the park when they're bringing some of these properties into the world and expanding on them. So, highly recommend you check this out. Let's go take a look at those covers now, and then we'll close out this video. All right, so here we have the main cover. This is what you would get at the store normally. This is a cover by Francesco Tomaselli. Let's see what else League of Comic Geeks has in store that they've announced. This is the B cover. It looks like this is not a final design, but it looks pretty finished to me by David Lafuente. And then of course we have Takeshi Miyazawa cover with art by by colors by Ian Herring. That's a really intense one. I like this one a lot. I like the main one too a lot, but this one's really cool. And then of course we have a Sean Galloway variant, a little bit more cartoony and stylized, which almost looks like a poster. The retro 67 cover. That's really cool. And then we're back to the first cover here, which I think it's my favorite. So if when I go to the shop, I'll be looking for this one. But let me know which one you're looking for. Now let's go wrap up this video. All right, so there you have it. That is your review for Racer X. Like I said, highly recommend you check this out, especially if you at any point were interested in Speed Racer and the world of Speed Racer. So if you have read this book, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. If you've seen the film for Speed Racer, which I never have, and if that's something that you think we should cover on the channel, let me know down in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye. You've seen them on TV. Now let's see what their stories are like in the pages of the comic books. This is The Blue Falcon and Dynomutt #1 from Dynamite. Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for The Blue Falcon and Dynomutt #1. This is a new comic book from Dynamite Comics, adapting the beloved Hanna-Barbera franchise into the pages of the comic books. So this is a very interesting property, and I was able to read this a little bit in advance. It's a really cool retelling of this property, right? This is obviously something that originally was for children, but I feel like this is a cool new take. So let's talk about the team before we get into all this. This is written by Jimmy Palmiotti with art by Pasquale Coalano, Jorge Sutil on colors, letters by Jeff Echoberry, and a plethora of variant covers that, well, we'll probably check out in a little bit because Dynamite, they love their covers. They do such great work. They get such great artists to do a lot of these really cool variant incentive covers. So let's talk about what's going on in this issue. Secure in their luxurious penthouse high above the downtown streets, wealthy inventor and art collector Ratley Crown and his faithful canine companion enjoy a charmed existence until a fateful day, a vicious gang of thugs shatters his complacency. In the aftermath of the vicious attack, Crown focus his incredible technical skills to rebuild both himself and his four-legged companion into the ultimate instruments of retribution, the Blue Falcon and Dynomutt, the Dog Wonder. This is an all-new take on the classic Hanna-Barbera cartoon by legendary author Jamie Palmiotti and acclaimed artist Pasquale Coalano. So I went into this not really knowing anything about the synopsis, and I really like the way that this story feels a lot more violent, a little bit more grounded even than the cartoon, right? Feels like a little bit more realistic approach on this. And it's really, really cool. Jimmy Palmiotti, I mean, comic book legend, a lot of really cool stuff, including Red Sonja, of course, from Dynamite, Harley Quinn, and so many other things, both on the art side and on the writing side. I think that he really brings this up in a way that feels more modern, more contemporary, but still doesn't lose the charm that you bring with the original Blue Falcon and Dynomutt stuff, which I'm not super familiar with. I remember watching some of this stuff, and I think there was a crossover as well when Hanna-Barbera was doing some stuff with DC, which I think was very cool. But other than that, this one goes really hard for the throat and for the heart. This really, I think the art team really focuses on making sure everything feels and looks like the original property, but also updating it to a more contemporary look. It's very cool, kind of gritty, kind of grounded, very dynamic, full of action. I really like it, and of course, they kind of tease a lot of really interesting things in this world that maybe sometimes we don't see some of this darkness in the cartoons. So yeah, if you're looking for a happy ending, don't come to this first issue. I'm sure things will pick up for the gang, but this one really goes all out, and it's pretty rough. Like it ends up in a pretty rough spot for everything that's going on in the story. So highly recommend you check it out though. Let's go take a look at some of the variant covers, and then we'll wrap up this video. All right, so here we have the covers that you can pick up this week in stores. The first one's the main cover by Lucio Parillo, and then let's go through League of Comic Geeks to see what else they've put out. We have Amanda Connor, of course. I mean, you have to get an Amanda Connor here. Really cool cover here. Very much feeling more like the cartoon. This is Joseph Michael Listner. Incredible stuff. Dino Mutt, really cool. Uh, then we have Francesco Mattina, who's very prolific when it comes to variant covers. Very dark, very gritty. This one for sure. Then we have a foil cover from the main cover as well, by Lucio Perigo. Then the Virgin variant, so no trade dress on that. I think this is also a foil cover for Mattina, and then we have of course a blank, so you can get your own stuff, and a metal cover that they're gonna do for the main cover as well. So really cool. Oh, we have this really cool sketch cover by Joseph Michael Listner. Yeah, so it looks like they're doing a few different takes on the main four covers that we saw. Oh, a really cool blue one as well, blue blank variant. These are nice because then you can just get a black and white drawing, and it still has a little bit of color already. So, um, all right, I think we've gone through all of them. We're back to the first one. So let's close out this video. All right, so there you have it. Highly recommend you check this out. Very cool property, very cool stuff. And like I said, a new, grounded, gritty, a little bit darker approach to the Blue Falcon and Dino Mutt in this retelling of their origin. So if you have read this, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye. After the shocking first issue of Godzilla, the flagship title ongoing of the new Kaisei era is back with more. Let's talk about it in this video. Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Godzilla #2. This is a book from IDW from the new Kaisei era of Godzilla, written by Tim Seeley with art by Nicolas Smeja, Francesco Segala on colors, color assist by Gloria Martinelli, and letters by Nathan Wittick. In this book, Jason and his fellow G-Force members made short work of Anguirus, but were they only able to defeat the kaiju because it was weakened by the same leeches currently fighting to bring Jason to a watery grave? And if these leeches were able to weaken a kaiju, can the G-Force weaponize them in their mission to kill Godzilla? Also, finally learn a little bit more about Lament, the mysterious new kaiju who seems to be puppeteering everything from the shadows. That's right, the first issue threw a lot out of us. But man, oh man, this one just really picks up in a really cool way. I will say one of my favorite things here is Sismej's art. I love the style. I love the character designs. I love the way that we see both the not only the characters from the G4s and their outfits and everything that like kind of the way that they interact, but also the kaiju. They look so cool. They all have really interesting designs. You get to see a lot more. Those leeches in here are disgusting and gross. When the Kaisei force comes out and when you see it on the screen, or not the screen, when you see it on the pages, like it's really cool. And the reason I said screen is because this book feels very cinematic to me. And of course, Godzilla, big property for movies, right? I'm still reeling from having watched Shin Godzilla from the first time. But man, this book just gives you such a different approach to the Godzilla lore. It's very, very cool. I'm really enjoying this era of Godzilla so far, with not just this book, but Enter the Dead Zone. And then I got a chance to read the last Starship book that we're getting later on. So this Kaisei era is really hitting on all cylinders. So I'm gonna keep talking about these books as long as you guys keep watching the videos. Tim Seeley really telling a cool story, planting those seeds, not only for Jason's powers. How can we get rid of Godzilla, this mysterious villain, but also like this kind of new age of kaiju and what's going on. I also want to talk about the lettering a little bit. I think Wittig does such a good job, especially when you follow the dialogue from Lament, which is in a completely different color. It's very, very cool. I like how much the dialogues differ from human to kaiju to the narration. It really helps you keep up with a lot of stuff. And yeah, IDW has been great at just kind of letting us really enjoy all this. As far as the approach and like how we cover the videos. So that's really cool. Now we have 3 different variant covers for this. So how about we go take a look, and then we'll close out this video. All right. So here we have the main cover. This is the Nicholas Meja cover. It's one of my favorites. Like just overall, it looks really, really cool. And then we have cover by Tim Seeley. Oh, this is actually by Jorge Corona. Uh, this is a really cool variant. I love Corona's art. Very stylized, very grimy, a lot of movement. I love so much smoke everywhere. And then this one is by Tim Seeley, who is not only the writer, but is also an artist. So, keep that in mind. And then we have one more, which just looks to be the Jorge Corona, but I believe this is with. So the first one was without the trade dress, and this one is with the trade dress. So there you have it. Let's close out this. All right. So that is issue 2 of Godzilla from the Kaisei era, IDW, killing it, firing on all cylinders. Really recommend you check out all these books. All these Godzilla series are really, really killing it, in my opinion. So if you have read this, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye. Get ready for your new Roman Empire. My friends over at Titan Comics sent me this hardcover of Caesar's Spy, a book that is coming out this week. So let's talk about it in this video. Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, we're going to be doing a review for Caesar's Spy. This is a new hardcover graphic novel from Titan Comics. My friends over at Titan sent me this a little while ago, and I've had a chance to read it. This is a very, very cool hardcover. So before we get into the review of the book, let me just tell you, you definitely want to check this out. It's a really cool, very good quality book. I love the interiors, the way that the book is kind of put together. They do some really cool stuff with like just some of the design choices here. And not only do you get an amazing story that we'll talk about in a second, you get a few pages of really cool back matter, some design, some stuff on the creator. So highly recommend you check this out. This is at $24.99 in the US and $33.99 in Canada, $21.99 in the UK with your, according to your currency. So, all right. But let's talk about this book. This is written by Jean-Pierre Picot, who is a prolific French creator who's worked on things like Moriarty, Clockwork Empire, with art by Fafner, who I'm not very familiar with this creator, this artist, but I saw that they worked a lot on things like Savage Sword of Conan, and then just a lot of books that feel like this with like very dynamic illustrations, very visceral, very war stuff like that. So yeah, I really like this. I really enjoyed getting into this world. So let me tell you a little bit about what's going on in here. This is set in the waning days of the Roman Empire. The story centers on Coax, a fierce Gallic mercenary capturing who he believes is a Roman hostage. Coax instead seizes a young Julius Caesar. In retribution, Caesar imprisons Coax, who is then sold into slavery and forced into gladiatorial combat. Surviving the arena, Coax ultimately becomes Caesar's covert agent, his spy, as you will, blurring the lines between slave and weapon. This is, if you like things like Gladiator, Conan the Barbarian, um, maybe even the Spartacus show on Stars from the early 2000s, which I was a really, really big fan of. You're gonna get this. This is a war epic. This is a really cool story. It's got some stunning visuals, a lot of very cool, gritty, visceral action, all within this historical context. So I really enjoyed it. I was not. This was something that kind of came out of left field because, like I said, we were able to get a copy of this, and it was really cool. It's not something that I probably would have picked up, but it really opens my mind to maybe picking up things that are not usually something that I would pick up. So, if you want a story about revenge, redemption, this is kind of like Coax's quest, right? He starts out with as searching for vengeance, and that's kind of propels him. But then he really evolves throughout the narrative. Um, there's some brutal combat. There's some harsh life of the gladiators, so people in the Roman Empire at the time, all the messed up things that they would do. It's a really interesting historical fantasy kind of thing because it mentions some accurate portrayals of figures like Caesar, but also it's all blended with this exaggerated story, this mythic kind of storytelling, right? From the perspective of an outsider like Coax, I think it's really cool to see because it feels like you get a more unbiased take on what this historical fantasy is, and then of course the exploration of power dynamics, agency, the relationship between Caesar and Coax. Even though Coax is kind of his agent, his spy, he's still also his property, right? That's kind of what it was like during the Roman Empire. So I said I want to just one more time remind you that Fafner's art is incredible, and you'll be seeing some art throughout the video. That's just very cool. Nothing feels like is exaggerated, but it all feels very gritty, very grounded. The designs in some of these buildings, like you really feel like the world is very lived in. There's so much detail. It's really incredible stuff. It's got some really interesting stuff. Like you get to see some little minute details and maybe a little bit of an exploration of what some of the stuff is. So yeah, I really like this. The narrative really works for me, and it propels into that. It is a little bit more mature, so I would not recommend this for like super young readers. But check the rating on the book as you kind of look into it, or maybe just ask at your comic shop what age group they would recommend this for. So yeah, this is really really fun. I love this type of stuff. Like I said, there's a reason why people are obsessed with the Roman Empire, right? So, uh, if you have picked this up, make sure to let me know down in the comments. I'm sure my friends over at 10 would be very happy to hear what you guys have to say about this book. Highly recommend it. Look at it; it's really just a very cool. It's a very well designed book. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And stay tuned. We have no more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye. Can this Superman story get any bigger? You bet it can. Let's talk about it in this video. Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum #2. This is a new book from DC Comics, part of the Summer of Superman from the acclaimed team behind Ice Cream Man. This is written by Maxwell Prince with art by Martin Morasso, Chris O'Halloran on colors, letters by good old Neon. We'll take a look at some of the covers and all that a little bit later. So, in this video, this colorful cruise through a cornucopia of curious new kryptonite continues. They don't make it easy for me to read the synopsis with all the alliteration. After last issue's timey-wimey race against the clock, Superman, with Batman's help, is left to deal with the sizable effects of cobalt kryptonite. Watch in awe as the Men of Steel grows and grows and grows some more, bringing us the Kal-El Kaiju comic of our collective dreams. What's happened to the fortress? Why is Superman so angry? What on earth is the monster Chemo doing here? Find out in this guest Phil romp from the creative team behind Ice Cream Man, in a story that only they could possibly tell, featuring the Justice League with Wonder Woman, John Stewart, Atom Smasher, and the introduction of Linda, queen of spreadsheets and pivot tables. Pivot tables are very important. This was great. Such a fun comic book. Like, man, oh man, I did not know what to expect from this book, other than it was going to be great, because I know I've read Ice Cream Man for a long time. I know these guys work, and they are just fantastic. The idea that Superman gets enormous from the kryptonite effect. And starting off this book, the first thing you see is a giant Atom Smasher trying to hold down a gigantic Superman stomping around Metropolis downtown. But why is Superman doing that? What's the issue, right? Is it part of the kryptonite? We know Lex Luthor is involved, so there's a lot of really fun concepts here. Bringing along the Justice League is really fun. But then also kind of how we got here, like we just get thrown into the middle of the story. Feels like Superman is just being a little reckless with these experiments, and then Batman also should know better than that. So this is full of comedy. It's full of really cool, like weird, surreal concepts. We get a lot of action. I mean, Martin Morazzo, I think, just doing some fantastic work interpreting the way that the universe looks through the lens of his art, which is great. There's some just really funny panels. You'll see some of the preview art go along in the video. But the inclusion of Batman, Superman, their friendship, Crypto, of course, because best boy Crypto, and then of course bringing along the Justice League and bringing back that gigantic monster of radioactiveness, Chemo. Like, oh my god! But like I said, when you get to the pivot tables, you know that this is going to be a good comic book. I'm really enjoying it. So let's go take a look at the covers, and then we'll kind of close out this video. All right, here we have the main cover by Martin Morazzo and Chris O'Halloran, where you see the gigantic Superman and the Justice League and a little Lex Luthor in his battle suit. Here is a Juan Ferreira variant, which is really interesting. I like the refraction of all these little pictures kind of through the lens of the kryptonite. That's a lot of fun. We have another Alex Ekman Lawn variant, and now I know Alex Ekman Lawn does collages. I don't know if this is a collage per se, but I now know, going back to Swan Songs, the anthology that W. Maxwell Prince did with a bunch of different artists, Alex being one of them. I now know why he is part of these covers. And then back to the original one. So yeah, you can't miss with the covers for Kryptonite Spectrum. All right, this is a great book. It's a lovely series. I'm really enjoying it. It's weird, it's creepy, it's funny, it's funky. I'm running out of adjectives here, but yeah, it's really, really cool. So if you have checked this out, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye. Trained by myths, destined to be legends. This is Court, the Children of the Round Table. Let's talk about it in this video. Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, we're going to be doing a review for Court, Children of the Round Table #1. This is a new book from DC Comics, written by Tom Taylor with art by Daniel Di Nicolo, colors by Ryan Barreto, by Rain Barreto, and letters by Wes Abbott. This is very interesting, a new project, completely separate from the DC universe, from what it seems like, at least for now. But I'm very excited to see this. I love Tom Taylor; he's one of my favorite writers. And I read some of his other independent projects that have this kind of feeling. I believe he had already done something with the same artist, Di Nicola, as well. So yeah, really exciting stuff. So let me give you a quick synopsis and a pitch for this book. For centuries, an elite force known as Camelot Corp has protected ancient secrets, waiting for the day when these myths are needed by the world. That date is today. Young Fell, Connor, and their friends are stunned when they're almost crushed by a giant stone falling from the sky. Their lives are changed forever when they find the sword stuck in the fastened stone. These children will be now are destined to face a great evil, but they won't do so alone. For these friends have been chosen to wield the ancient magical weapons. Great weapons bonded to knights of legend, weapons that can talk, which is a trope that I really, really love in comics and manga and anime. Weapons that argue. With the evil Maldred's power growing, the fate of the world rests in the hands of the children of the Round Table. New York Times bestseller Tom Taylor and Daniel DiNiccolo team up to bring a new kind of hero to DC Comics. Yeah, this is really fun. I mean, this is Arthurian legend brought to life with these children. They all have really interesting personalities. You get to learn about a lot about them and kind of this friend group and how they interact, kind of what they do. But it's all action packed from the go. We get to see a really cool first page that gives you a little bit of insight into what may be going on. You're probably going to see that as part of the previews that roll through the screen. So I like that a lot. I think it makes for a very cool kind of all ages read, which is something that a lot of these books are rated T for teen, but I believe this one is probably all A plus, so pretty much everyone. So this one is definitely recommended for the younger readers. I feel like, and I think this is the way that I'm going to read this before I get further into the review. This is going to be a really nice, like a young adult size book, or a middle grade book, because I think that's what this is really. It's truly going to be the best way to check this out. But I really like the story. I like the characters. They're funny. They're quirky. They're weird. I Daniel Colo's art. It's really cool. Very stylized. It does give me a little bit of sense of like a manga influence, or maybe like a more stylized design for these kids. Where they have the big eyes, and it's stuff like that. Just really makes you feel like, oh, these are very cool kids that are going to run into some very, very interesting problems very soon. But I love the dynamic of the group. They're really funny. And then, of course, once the rock falls onto them and bestows them their swords or their weapons, it's very, very cool. So, yeah, I like the way this is going. I think the book is definitely posing. Uh, do we really know who the protagonist is, or are they both? And how strong is the bond between the group? I think Fell and Connor have a little bit of a rivalry going on, which is also a very, very well explored anime trope, which I love too. So, and then of course, like I mentioned, the book is bright. It pops. It's very dynamic, and when stuff gets going, there are some really, really cool pages, like pulling the sword out of the stone, and everybody getting their weapons. A lot of really cool, almost like Sentai, like Power Rangers type of stuff. It's fun. It's great. They don't really transform, but I mean the way they get their weapons. So it all really works. I really enjoy this book. It's really, really fun. So highly recommended. Like I said, I think I'm going to be reading this in separate arcs, but I wanted to do a review for the first issue because I wanted to make sure that people were aware that this book was happening. So before we get out of here, let's take a look at some of the covers for this video. I think people have been enjoying me adding the covers to the video, so let's check it out. All right, here's the first main cover by the main artist, Daniel DiNiccolo. Then we have a Dustin Nguyen cover, which is really cool. Dustin Nguyen, of course, has a very specific style. Little Gotham, you've probably seen it. This is kind of like that. Yeah, I like this cover a lot. And then, of course, we have another cover by Nicoletta Baldari, who's an artist that I'm not very familiar with, but this really works. It really captures as well the feel of the book. You get to see a little bit of a preview of the weapons that each of the kids are going to be wielding, so that's kind of cool. And then, of course, now we're back to the main cover. So let's go close out this video. All right. So there you have it. That is my assessment of Court Children of the Round Table #1. Like I said, if you have a young reader in your life, I highly, highly recommend they check this out. I think this is a great way to, get kids reading, get them into comic books, and then also kind of understand how comic books work. One thing I didn't talk about a lot, the lettering really makes it very easy to understand who's talking because the weapons are disembodied beings, so they don't really have mouths and stuff. So, yeah, it makes it very accessible for anybody, even somebody that's new to comics, to be able to understand what's going on. So, highly recommend you check this out. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And stay tuned. We have our comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.